Okay, so I'm just going to open up my sketchbook program. And what we'll do is we'll really quickly just draw out these examples. Okay, so in the previous one, I knew that I had a tabletop that I was going to divide into two pieces. I knew that I had a leg that was the same thickness, and I needed 4 of those. Okay, and then I needed a skirt piece that was different. So this is all going to be out of 2.75-inch thick wood, and then my 1-inch thick wood is going to be the 4 skirt pieces. Now, I'm doing this freehand on my monitor, which is kind of sketchy, no pun intended. But basically, if you do this with a ruler. You can even scale them if you want, but the most important part of it is to understand the way that this is going to work with the dimensions that we have. Let me see if I can't get both the dimensions and the drawing up on the screen at the same time. Not this one. This one. Oh, there. Okay. Okay. So okay. So if we look at the thicknesses, so I have that already accounted for, 2 3/4 and 1 inch. The width, okay, so if I'm taking a look at the leg, oh, actually, let me go back to the previous chart. There we go. The legs are 3 inches by 3 inches, we'll just say, by 27 inches long. So we know that that's 27 inches and that's 3 inches. And for the tabletop, we knew that that was 9 1/4 inches, 9.25 inches by 18, 19. Okay. So this is part 1, 2, and then there's 1, 2, 3, 4 legs. For our skirt, they are 4.5 inches wide and they are 12 inches long. Okay, so if I want to draw out a piece of wood that would accommodate the skirt, I know that, oops, sorry about that. I know that the wood is going to need to be 4.5 plus 4.5 plus my saw cut. Okay, so that's going to equal to 9 plus the saw cut, okay, which is 1/8 of an inch. So 9 1/8. Okay, and that is for the width. For the length, I know that I need a 12-inch piece and another 12-inch piece. So for the length, it's going to end up being 12 inches plus 12 inches plus the saw cut is equal to 24 1/8. Okay? So for this piece of wood, I need, if I'm going thickness, width, length, I need a 1 by 9 and an eighth by the length we said was 24 and an eighth. Okay, and that's for the skirt. All right, so then to zoom over, and we'll do the tabletop now. So the tabletop is going to end up being like this. That's part 1, that's part 2. We know that they're 19 inches long. And they are 9 1/4 inches wide. Okay, and then we have our leg and our other leg, and then 2 more legs. Okay, and those are 27 inches long and 27 inches long. And the width is less than that, but if you want to write it in, you can. That's 3 inches and 3 inches. But as long as I understand that 9 1/4 is the widest anyway, so my width is equal to 9 1/4, and this is for the top and the legs. Okay, and um, actually, hang on a second. Let me do that over again. Okay, so my thickness is equal to 2 3/4, or sorry, 3. Is it? No, 2 3/4. My width is equal to 9 1/4, and my length is equal to 19 plus 19 plus 27 plus 27, all plus 1, 2, 3 saw cuts. Okay, so this all here adds to 92 plus 3 saw cuts of 1/8, so 3/8. So 92 inches and 3/8. Don't need the inch there actually. Okay, so if we go thickness, width, and length, 2 3/4 inches by 9 1/4 inches by 92 3/8 inches. Okay, and if we multiply that all out and we divide by 144, we get the board feet. And if we multiply that all here, let's pan that all out. If we get this and divide by 144, we also get the board feet. Okay, which is what I have here in this chart over here. Right, so we have 2 3/4 for the top. Actually, it's the next chart that I have there. Okay, so for the thicker ones, it's 2 3/4 by 9 1/4 by 9 3/8, and just off screen. Okay, then that's going to equal to 16.32 board feet. Okay, and then this one is, oh, I think we might have made a mistake here, guys, or I might have made a mistake. This is supposed to be, oh no, this is the skirt. What did I do? How did I get 9 3/4? Oh, I know what I did. Okay, well, actually, this is a good learning moment. So we could have laid it out like this, but if you remember in my SketchUp drawing, I actually laid it out as one big long board. So here, so you can see I laid it out in SketchUp this way. The answer's still going to be the same for the number of board feet. You just have to be careful because a 9.5 inch wide board is going to be a lot more expensive than a 4 or 5 inch board. Okay, so let's just redo that skirt example. I'm just going to really quickly. I'm just going to really quickly just grab all that and delete it. Okay, so we have this is 1 inch thick, and then we have 4 of them in a row. Okay, and we know that each one of them, um, how long was each one of them? I'm not quite sure. One and 1/8. Okay, so 12 and 1/8, 12 and 1/8, 12 and 1/8, 12 and 1/8. Okay, and then the width was 4.5. So if we have our thickness times our width times our length, just to do a quick calculation, our length is going to be, um, well, 4 times this, so 48 and 4/8, which is a half. Okay, I just added these up and I added the eighths up. I got that. Okay, so it's going to be 1 inch times 4.5 inches times 48.5 inches, and that's going to equal to our board foot amount. And you can see that in our chart over here, we have 1 times 4.5 times 4 and 3. Oh, I didn't include my saw cuts, so we have to do that. We've got plus 3 saw cuts. Okay, so that's going to affect that number here. This 48 is not going to be 48.5. And actually, I think I made a mistake here when I did this, but that's okay. This is why we do this. We do this so that we can calculate this stuff out and figure out what we want. So 3 times an eighth is 3/8. So it's going to be 4. Here, let me start this line again. So it's going to be 48.5 plus 3/8 is going to equal to 48 and 5/8. Okay. Okay, and so that would make this, that should have made this number bigger. 5/8 is 625, so that should have been 625. that's going to slightly change that number. So let's figure that out. So we have 1 times 4.5 times 48.625 divided by 144 is 1.519 this time, so we'll change that to a 2. It's not going to change things by too much. Remember, it's just I missed 3 saw cuts, and we overestimated by an inch anyway, so we have lots of leftover lumber there. But anyway, so you can see $105, and that's how I would lay out the calculation for this project on a sheet of paper. You take your individual part. So I've got one for my skirt. I did that one. I just laid out how they're going to look with some dimensions. It doesn't have to be to scale. It should hopefully be a little bit neater than mine. I'm drawing on a screen, which I'm not used to. And then I did it for the top and the legs together. Just make sure you have all your parts. So that's leg 1, leg 2, leg 3, leg 4. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. If these were different lengths or different parts that we were stacking together, you'd want to label them probably separately. But that's the general idea. What we want in the end is we want this, so we can calculate. So we can calculate this. We want this, so we can calculate. What was the number? 1.52. 1.52 board feet. Okay. And then from there we can multiply it by, in this case, the 350, and in this case, the 615, and get our total cost of $108 and something cents. Okay. Or $105.66. This should be $105.66. Ignore that. Okay. So what I would like you guys to do, so for your assignment, I want you to recalculate project 1 and 2 from last week on paper like this, okay? And show your work. Okay, you can just take a picture and upload it, I guess. But basically, I want to see a little diagram that shows that you stacked the parts up properly, that you've labeled the lengths of each of the parts and the width, and that gives you you're going to be writing out length, width, thickness. So somewhere off to the side, like I've done here, thickness, width, length, and then put in your formula and do your calculation and your price and give me a total price. And it should be different than the one you did before because we're adding in the idea that the prices are going to be, the thicknesses are going to affect the prices. Okay. Now in the assignment section, when I make the assignment and you see the assignment in Google Classroom, you'll see I will give you, so each project will have maybe 1 or 2 or even 3 thicknesses. I will give you a new price for each of the different thicknesses for project 1 and for project 2. Okay, so that you have different numbers to work with. Okay. Hopefully this all makes sense. I know it's a little bit of a long video, but um, I just wanted to demonstrate to you the two different ways. If you absolutely want to and you really like SketchUp, by all means, you can open up SketchUp and you can do it like this. Same idea though. Basically, you're just stacking the pieces of lumber together, giving it a little bit of room, accommodating that, and figuring out what sizes boards you need. Okay? Anyway, if you have questions, ask in there. I'm more than happy to help you out. All right. Thanks very much and good luck.